You are listening to the Novel Writing Podcast, Episode 1. Grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Today's episode is really just an introduction to the whole podcast and to me as your host and Halie as your co-host for a few episodes, and she'll come back and be a frequent guest, of course, because Halie is amazing. We're going to give you a little bit about what this podcast is going to entail, what you can expect. And yeah, so my background it's actually in mechanical engineering, but I've been writing since I was 12 years old. And in 2018, I wrote my first draft of a novel that took me another couple years to write another draft of. And Halie's challenge is actually what helped me get that first rewrite done. And then within a year of that rewrite, I was published. So I really have to credit the 60-day novel writing challenge and basically all the stuff that I've learned from Halie to being able to write and publish my first book, which is a lifelong dream come true. But other than that background, I'm also a life coach, and I coach authors, specifically novel authors, to go from first draft to self-published. And we've done it in as little as a year. And I take out all of the drama, the confusion, the tears that can sometimes come with trying to figure out the whole self-publishing process. So I help coach those authors in our challenge groups through all of the drama that they have with actually writing their first drafts or even through self-editing. So we have a lot of fun in the coaching groups that we do. And that's basically my background there. Halie, take it away for you.
All right. So my name is Halie Fewkes, and I am an author, and I have been since the wonderful age of 12 years old when I started my first book called Secrets of the Tally. And my first book took me 5 years of writing and then 7 more years of rewriting before it finally came out. And so the 60-day novel writing challenge is something that I created a couple of years ago just so that, nobody else has to spend 12 years on their very first book. So when we first set out to make the 60-day novel writing challenge, what we were looking for was, what do people struggle with the most when it comes to writing their drafts? Because there's a reason that a lot of us take 10, 12, sometimes 20 years and the book still isn't done, right? And, we are going to get a lot into that as the podcast goes on. I'm remembering that this is the one where I'm just supposed to talk about who I am. So we'll talk more about the 60-day challenge later. Okay, I started writing my book when I was 12. Took me 12 years before it came out. The very last book in my series is actually coming out this year, and it's been almost 20 years in the making, this entire series has. So it's very bittersweet in that it is going to actually be over now. And I'm going to tell you guys about how I met Colleen, because I think this is a wonderful story. And if you could see her right now, she's laughing. So like she said, she's a mechanical engineer. I went to school for marketing. I knew that I wanted to be an author from the get-go. And so I decided that I really believe that anyone can write a book, but not everybody knows how to sell a book. And so that's why I went to school for marketing, because I specifically wanted to be an author in my future. And my roommate was a mechanical engineer, not Colleen, but she was in a class with Colleen. And the day that I met Colleen was when I came home and found their whole group taking apart my toaster and performing a mechanical engineering autopsy on it on the counter. And so anyway, that is how Colleen and I met. Once the 60-day challenge took off and got started, and she used it to write her draft and found so much success with it, it was really exciting because we wanted to know how we could take it further. And so we started talking about, okay, people need extra motivation. That's one of the hardest things, is that people can't sit down to actually get the book written. And so we said, why don't we make a group, like an accountability group that includes coaching and editing? And so we did. And gosh, was that a couple of years now? It's been going for a couple of years now. And
the very first challenge was October, November of 2020.
Oh man, it's 2023 now. So 3 years that we have been running that group, and our members keep coming back and back because they love it. So anyways, I've probably talked for way too long, but that is basically where we started, how we met each other, and how we got going on what we call our premium group, where we help people with their writing.
Now, I maintain that I never touched your toaster. That was all the other people in my group, but
yes, everybody
you're right,
but Colleen. Colleen just watched. You're complicit.
Hey, we were standing in your kitchen talking about fan fiction while Hunter took apart your toaster. So
okay,
that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to.
Maybe I was complicit too.
We'll just go with that. So this podcast, we're going to have 3 more episodes with me and Halie, and then we're going to go into 60 days of daily episodes. And those daily episodes are going to be companion episodes to the 60-day novel writing challenge. And these are going to be really short, snappy, actionable, inspiring episodes that you can listen to like they're popcorn. And it's not going to take much longer, especially if you're in the challenge, to just pair this with the video of the day and get a little bit extra boost for your writing journey. All right. Thank you for joining us for this very first episode of the Novel Writing Podcast. And remember, your rough draft is supposed to be garbage. And we will leave it at that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Novel Writing Podcast. If you're ready to stop struggling and start finishing your novel, check out the 60-Day Novel Writing Challenge. It's a step-by-step program designed for solo writers to complete their first draft with clarity and focus. Visit the link in the description to learn more.